When I was learning it, it was communicated to me by my teacher that there was always a whakapapa of everything. Who came first, who came first. And being the second brother, I was brought up in that way. Always respect your elder. And he taught me that the elder of our society is wahine. And when you think about it, it's logical. Where did you come out of? You didn't come out of a man's ribs. You came out of a woman. And that has been an elephant in the room in terms of Māori culture for me, right from the beginning of learning about Māori things, that woman was always first. The karanga. You can't go into marae without a karanga. A woman can stop people coming on with the karanga and bring them on with the karanga. It's power. That's like I was taught the birds waking up the trees. With the whare, the house where people stay, it's shaped on a woman's body. And all of these things always kept on making an impression on me, even though when you sit down and learn about your culture, it was very masculine. Being boys, we were taught about tumatau and tāne and tangaroa and all that, but very, very little on the female. And where I come from, we had a whare wānanga meeting in Te Kākara, and they taught you the two karakia were mana tāne, mana wahine, and it was balance. And so then I learned from Papa, he was very clear in the whakapapa, because he used to always call women tuakana. And in Māori, that was a little bit confusing to me, because it was usually your own gender that you would say tuakana to. But he would say tu wahine, and I asked him about it, and he told me. He said, oh well, time to do the wānanga on the rei. And he told me the whakapapa of the rei, how it come directly from the Supreme Force Unified Field. And they have the power of regeneration, creativity, creating something, regenerating something that's already been created. But the new leaf, the new wave, the new wind, that's what they could do. So they had to lower their frequency to be able to marry the tāne atua and then create the world that we have. But when the Europeans came along, they didn't even recognize it, because it was a mirror of them. They were white Christian males, so they only wanted to see that. While they could have let Māori have male gods, they couldn't let them have female. The only two that you would ever hear about at all were ones that were associated with negativity, like Mahuika, the goddess of fire, who was justified in throwing her fire at Maori, and Hinunuitapo, goddess of death, which is not a bad thing. And, you know, it's not that it's time, it never went away. It stayed exactly the way it's been since the beginning of time. The hine rei have never left. What's happened is the people, their oro has gotten so shifted by things like the interpretation from the Pākehā lens that we've forgotten them. So all I am trying to be is a carrier of the memory and let people remember that we were created before form through the energy of the womb of creation, of the female gods. And that's that ancient old memory, the scalar memory, that's there before everything is turned into physical. So in that, it is obvious the ahuru, or the womb, comes before the tuatani. And that doesn't take anything against the tuatani. If it never made me feel anything less about tani. You know, if you're a bend in the river, down the river, is there any more powerful than at the beginning? Same river. And I think if you look at the true meaning in wharewana, what it was always about was creating a balance. And when you had an enemy, he wasn't your enemy, the imbalance was the enemy. And if you could correct the imbalance, then the enemy would correct himself. And you have to look at it in that way, that the world is imbalanced. Then you can look at it in the news. Having that very forceful masculine energy without a feminine to balance it, it's imbalanced. This needs to happen where we wake up and we start changing our frequencies to unlock the hidden knowledges that have never gone.